Kenny McCormick has always been one of my favorite South Park characters. He's always wearing that orange parka that hides his face and makes his voice mostly unintelligible. Kenny has died countless times throughout the show's run. Sure, we find it comical and entertaining, just another part of the show. But have we ever stopped to wonder why Kenny is so prone to death? Yes, there have been reasons provided by the show, such as him being the immortal superhero Mysterion. But there's more to it than that. Kenny grew up in a very poor household, something he was ridiculed and teased about often. His parents wasted away what money the family had to satisfy their addictions to drugs and alcohol. Things were usually not well in the McCormick home. Because of his parents' substance abuse problems, he was sexually abused by his mother and beaten by his father. This took its toll on the boy after some time, and is why Kenny is more knowledgeable of sexual matters than his friends. After some time, Kenny developed an extremely destructive personality. He hid it from his family and friends, but became obsessed with an urge to die. The boy felt uncared for in a cruel world, displayed by his friends' overall lack of concern for his many deaths in the series. The episodes of the show are actually fantasies played out from Kenny's mind, his focus mainly on the ones in which he dies. Kenny didn't want anyone to suspect his death wish, so he played out many of his deaths as accidents and rarely committed suicide. By the time season 5 of the show came about, Kenny had grown truly tired of living in his fantasies. His escapes from a cruel and harsh reality no longer brought peace to his utterly tormented mind, so he created a new fantasy in which he had truly died and was no more. This occurred in episode number 13 of season 5, appropriately titled, Kenny Dies. For once, his friends cared he had perished, now that he was gone for good. Kenny felt much happier being dead, unable to feel the pain or agony of the real world. It wasn't until the season 6 finale that he decided he wanted to live again. The motive behind this began with his father's suicide. His substance abuse had grown worse, and he was deeply ashamed of bringing poverty upon his family. There was a morning Kenny went into the bathroom to find his father, Stuart McCormick, dead from a massive overdose of mixed drugs, with the words, "All my fault," and "Never again," scratched into the walls. The discovery was beyond traumatizing for the boy's already unstable psyche. His mother, Carol, began drinking even more after her husband passed away. A week after Stuart's demise, Carol came into Kenny's room shortly after he had gone to bed. For once, she was sober. At first, he was afraid his mother was going to abuse him again. Instead, she apologized for all the suffering she had caused him, knowing her son was truly hurt. Carol knelt in front of his bed, asking if Kenny could forgive her. After a few moments, Kenny quietly replied with tears in his eyes, "I forgive you, Mom." The woman smiled at him strangely, feeling a hint of relief. She thanked him, then pulled a handgun from her pocket and shot herself in the head, dying instantly. Kenny's mind was completely broken by the loss of his mother. His perception of reality was shattered, and he began to live out his days in his fantasies once more. Beginning at the end of season 6, Kenny returned to the show and died far less often in episodes. His parents remained at home as they were before committing suicide in reality. Kenny's still in denial of their deaths. He created the explanations for his many deaths in the show to hide his true desires to die, wanting only a normal life. Many times Kenny considered following in the footsteps of his parents and taking his own life to end it all, but he knew he had to be strong for his siblings. It was only out of his own selflessness, seen numerous times in the show, that he decided to continue living.